What is up, Texas hockey fans, and welcome back to Clean Sheet of Ice, a Texas hockey podcast on the Apollo Media's podcast network. Last night was a doozy. We're recording this Wednesday, November 19th in the morning. Last night's game against the Islanders, the Stars fought back valiantly, and they came up just short. The refs may have screwed us. They may not have. I have no idea. There might be a brawl on Long Island next time they play the Islanders. There's a lot to get into on this show. Miro Rantanen was all over the place. Jason Robertson, 2 goals. Once again, he's just on a heater, multi-goal game. On today's episode of Clean Sheet of Ice, we're going to get into it. Sponsored by Zing Zang, America's #1 Bloody Mary Mix. We love Zing Zang over here. Zang responsibly all season long. We love Zing Zang. Zang responsibly. It's a good stuff. Just drink some before Thursday night's game because it's a late one. Have some Zing Zang. Zang responsibly all season long. And shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code CSOI. When you sign up and play first $5, get $100 in bonus entries using our promo code CSOI. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. I'm your host, Tony Strankman, joined always by Dom Garcia. How are we doing this morning?
Stone, you were in the building. I was comfortably watching at home. It was a nothing burger of a game to start, but boy, did we get some chaos at the end. I guess we just saved it for the last 5 minutes of the game. And boy, that was a weird one.
Tensions were real high in that third period. The first 2 periods, it's kind of a playoff type of game where entries are very tough. Going past the blue line, offensive zone possession is very tough. It was a good game, a good hockey game. I don't know if it was the most entertaining for like a casual viewer, but for someone that enjoys the intricacies of hockey and all the little things that you get in a really tight, tough game, that was pretty fun for me. But you give up that goal in the second period and you're like, all right, it is what it is. Like, stupid one to give up. It is what it is. You just get over it. It's 1-0. He got Robo. He's on a heater. He scored like 6 goals in 3 games. Like, it's going to be fine. Like, he'll get one. Which he did. He did get one in that second period, batted it up into the goal. It's a great goal. But you're sitting there, it's 1-1 heading into the third period. And I'm like, all right, this is a win. Like, the boys are going to come out in the third period. They're going to play the third period hockey that they have all season long. It was the exact opposite of that. You go down 2-1 pretty early on. Bo Horvat gets that puck off the boards. It's a weird play. Otter goes to squeeze it against the post. When it comes off of the boards, it pokes out with the stick. And Horvat has a tap-in goal, and you're like, all right, that's not fun. That's not one you want to give up. But there's still a lot of time. There's about 17 minutes left. You think you can get into it? And then after that, absolute chaos just ensues. So, like, watching on TV, you're down 3-1. What did you see the last, 5 minutes of this game? I have no idea where you even start with that third period.
Yeah, no, it was. So first of all, like, credit to New York. Like, their game plan was clearly this Dallas Stars power play is the best in the league. So no matter what, even if we have to lay off, it's like we're playing an NBA game with 5 fouls. Like, we are not letting these guys get on the power play. And it was a little frustrating for guys like, Rupe, guys like Jamie Benn, first game back, to kind of see that kind of backed off coverage. But when we got to the nitty gritty of things and Dallas started to put on the pressure, like, that's when you start just kind of like, it's like in the NBA when you have those fouls off the ball and it's like a 3 goes up, but somehow someone who's fouled like at the baseline and you're just like, you stop your feet and you're not even in the play, but it affects the rest of the game. The refs were on some weird stuff because they almost did not call that Oscar Beck like high stick that if he didn't catch blood, like, they weren't going to call it. So I think you mentioned that goalie mentioned that after the game, like, it was just, very shaky from the refs. And we saw even more shakiness at the very end. I will say, though, those last 5 minutes, it's a tough spot for the refs to be in just because there's so much going and everybody's at full speed. It was just madness. I thought, we're down 3-1. I'm like, man, we won 5 in a row. We've looked really good. This game, was just a weird kind of like the Texans playing the Titans, like just jet lag, 3-and-outs, punts, but like you're so good you can keep yourself in the game, and that's what happened.
Yeah. So in the last, all right, starting with Bo Horvat's high staking penalty, which came about 7 minutes into the period, there was 5 penalties called. There was 0 penalties called in the first 2 periods, in the first 5+ minutes of the third period. I thought there were several missed tripping calls, several missed hooking calls on both teams. I'm not saying it was just for the Stars getting on the power play. Like, I thought there was several on both teams that they didn't call all game. And then the high sticking one, play went on for another 5+ real seconds, game time seconds, before the refs kind of huddled around the benches and were like, maybe we should have called that. And then Oscar's scab comes off of his nose from the last game, and he's just pouring blood. So Bo Horvat goes to the box. They look at it. It's a double minor, 4 minutes. They called a game misconduct, and I have very little knowledge of why there was a game misconduct, 10-minute penalty. Like, because then Horvat leaves the box and goes down the tunnel like he's out for the game. But then he comes back during a TV timeout and goes back in the box. It was the most confusing thing. I have no idea why he got a game misconduct. He was barking at the refs, but not any more than we've seen any other player in the NHL outside of Nathan McKinnon maybe bark at a ref without repercussion. So I don't know if it was that or if it was the double minor high sticking, and because Oscar was bleeding so much from his nose, they were like, all right, you gotta get out of here. Soft call, if that's what it is. Soft call. And if he's barking at the refs, soft call. It's like, because Horvat did kind of get tripped a little bit by Oscar. He didn't get his skates, but Oscar's hand was kind of on his hip. He was already off balance. It just kind of propelled the trip. If you don't call a tripping penalty there, I'm fine with that. If you called a tripping penalty there, I'm fine with it. But the high sticking happened. Oscar's bleeding from his nose. It is what it is. But the 10-minute for misconduct was just strange because we didn't get an explanation on that. I didn't get an explanation from that post game because we're not going to ask goalie about that one. But then the 4-minute power play happens. You're like, all right, you got to get 2. They could do that. Like, all day long, they could do that because you only needed 1 to tie it. And I was like, they can get 2 here. Like, the power play has just been lethal. The power play was disgusting. It was the worst power play probably of all season. They give up a shorty, unassisted. Rupe Hentz is looking for a call. He ran into an Islander defender. He's on the ice. He sits on the ice for an extra 2-3 seconds. He's looking for a call. There's no call. All of a sudden, Palmieri, I think, for the Islanders is just running free on a breakaway, scores a goal. Then it's 3-1. You're like, all right, whatever. Just get out of here unscathed. No penalties, no nothing. Just get out of here. It's a 3-1 loss. It is what it is. You just won 5 in a row. That didn't happen at all because the power play is just absolutely disgusting. Jamie Benn then takes a high sticking call, which I don't think I agree with because the stick is on the ground. The Islanders offensive guy takes his stick and hits himself in the face with Jamie's stick. I'm just like, that's not on Jamie. I know you're responsible for your stick, but if it's grabbed from you and hit yourself in the face, I don't think it should be a high sticking call. But it's a high stick. It is what it is. You go 4-on-4, then it's still gross. And then you get like, I don't know, 45 seconds, a minute of power play after that. You had about 2 minutes of power play on that 4-minute power play. You don't score a goal. And I'm like, all right, just get out of here. Just leave it be. Matthew Schaefer gets another penalty, 13 minutes into the period. And we're like, all right, maybe they just score 1 here and get an empty net 6-on-5 goal. Then we can go to overtime. You get a point. It is what it is. You didn't deserve to be here. Not the case at all. It's just chaos, man. This game was so stupid. And then, Robo gets a call in that power play, a minute and a half into it, basically. So there's 30 seconds of 4-on-4 and then a minute and a half of power play for the Islanders. They kill that off. And I'm like, all right, let's just see what 6-on-5 looks like. And then 6-on-5 looked great. Offensive zone pressure the whole time. They were snapping the puck around. They get that goal from Robo where it looks like it should have went in before. Then Robo just kind of barely gets the top of the pad, I think, off of the backhand shot from Robo. He scores it. It's 3-2, and you're like, man, there's 2 minutes left. That 6-on-5 looked great. And then the rest of the game happens. What do you take from all the penalties that happened in a span of 5+, 10+ minutes, maybe? pure chaos. It was just strange to watch because at one point I just shut my computer down. I was like, this is it.
Yeah, no, it was. They're all really weird penalties, and they're like, I mean, all of them
Yeah.
just weird scenarios. New York, man,
They're not bad.
they're not bad. Like, I know their record isn't what it could be, but they play a sound game. They're just missing that kind of. Maybe they do have that superstar. He's only 20 years old, but they're missing that like big time take over the game player. And I think watching that third period though, as weird and as awkward as that first and second period went, Dallas had been here before, and you kind of saw that. And they really I don't like getting points at the very end of games, stealing them, but if New York's going to leave them there on the table, why not take it? It was just really weird, really weird calls by the refs on both ends, like you said. Just letting to I think 5 minutes into the third, I knew like this game is not going to be a snooze fest, but it is going to be like just one of those games on crack.
Yeah. So then we get to the nitty gritty of this game, the nitty gritty of the episode. There's about 30 plus seconds left in the game. The Stars get the puck in between the blue lines. They dump it in. Mikko's chasing after the puck. There's two Islanders defenders there chasing after the puck as well. One has a beat on Mikko. One does not. One is behind Mikko. Mikko gets, I don't want to say hooked, but he gets knocked off balance completely. There's a shove from a right arm into Mikko. Mikko clearly looks off balance. He goes off to the side a little bit. They bump skates. So what we learned in postgame, because I didn't see this in real time. All I saw was the play that happens, and it looks disgusting. It looks bad. It looks dirty. Then when you watch it in slow-mo, there's all sorts of different things that you missed if you just watched it in real time, especially in person. That goalie mentioned in the postgame, he was like, look, I'm always going to have a different opinion of what the refs have if it doesn't go our way. That's just how it works. He's a Stars homer because he's the coach. He's rooting for a win and all that kind of stuff. But he's like, if you watch the play, he gets bumped and then their skates collide, so he is off balance. And if you've ever played the game of hockey, the first thing you do when you go off balance is put your hands out to help catch yourself, to catch the fall. And that's what Mikko did. And Mikko gets bumped from behind, from the side. They collide skates. He's off balance. He puts his hands out. One hand goes on basically the butt of Romanov, and Romanov goes forehead, face first into the boards, not even the glass, like the hard part. It's not even, there's no give on the boards. So he collides into that. Real bad play, not something you want to see in hockey. And I know Mikko didn't want to do that. He wasn't planning on doing that. He was going to hit the guy going into the boards to get the puck and try to squeeze the puck out. And they had 25 seconds, 27 seconds, I think is when they called it the penalty. It was boarding. I get that. The Islanders get all over Mikko. They rip his helmet off and all that kind of stuff. It was a bad play. But at the end of the day, you can't blame Mikko because he did what any normal person would do if they're on skates. They're trying to catch their fall. It just ended in a really bad circumstance and something you don't want to see. And I hope Romanov's okay and he doesn't have to go on IR, and hope he's not concussed or whatever it is. Like, I hope he's okay. And that's what all the Stars want. And that's what goalie said. Like, first off, I hope the health is okay of that player. And it was a bad play. And then Mikko gets tossed from the game. They called a 5-minute misconduct for boarding. I don't know if I agree with tossing him from the game. I definitely think it should have been 2 minutes. It was definitely boarding. I get that, but it's kind of a tough one. And then as he's going down the tunnel, Patrick Waugh of the Islanders, he's their head coach, is screaming at the top of his lungs. You could hear it from the press box. You can hear it on the mics on Victory Plus. You could hear it on Sportsnet. He's yelling at Mikko. And all the Stars benches just kind of looking at Patrick Waugh like, we understand that you didn't like the play, but holy shit, leave it alone. Patrick Waugh, this is from Twitter. I don't know. I haven't completely heard the words, but I'm going to trust Twitter lip readers and listeners. You're not going to finish that game. Talking about the next time that they play the Islanders in New York on Long Island. Basically putting a bounty on Miro Rantanen's head. If you want to get back, you get the fight in. You call it a day in the first period, and then you go to the box for 5 minutes. You get out of there and you play the rest of the hockey game. Don't say you're not going to finish that game, because that's a bounty at the end of the day. And the thing that I noticed from that video is that Jamie Benn is in between the two benches. He's not even on the Stars bench, essentially. He's in between, and he's just glaring at Patrick Waugh. So I'm looking at Jamie next time they play the Islanders. I don't know when it is, but it's going to be in New York. That's going to be a tough one because last year, if you recall, Liam Bichel had a dirty hit into the boards that he got concussed on, that Matt Dumba went to fight for. People forget that every time that they play the Islanders, something bad's going to happen to either team. So if you're saying that Mikko's not going to finish that next game, I would expect there to be several fights, several misconducts, several penalties in that next game. But Patrick Waugh just going after Mikko, and Mikko's just kind of looking at him just like, dude, I didn't try to do that. That's not like – and Mikko's a little bit dirty. He likes to play a little tough and get nitty-gritty and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think Mikko was trying to do that. We didn't get to talk to him post-game. But what'd you see from the play? It was a tough one, but I don't think it deserved the misconduct, and I don't believe Patrick Waugh should be putting a bounty on Miro Rantanen's head.
Yeah. Of all people, Avs fans chimed in a lot last night.
Sure.
And Stars Countdown was quick with the responses to them.
I missed all these, yeah.
But so basically, I think what Avs fans were more mad about this than Islanders fans. Like that's the level we're at here. But
lunacy.
They were pointing out like the sequence before the sequence. You know, Mikko does have a little Gordie Howe in him. He does have a little, give you a little extra. Yeah. Maybe some essence of Jamie Benn has rubbed off a little bit with him, but it's not malicious. Like Romanov, they were moving so fast that Romanov could not. His feet were clipped immediately. Like so, if it's a slower pace, he probably braces himself better. But it was such a bang play that, you know, things happen the way they happen. Now, if you're the ref, you have to make a call. Would I have made that call? No. But, you know, it's heat of the game. There's literally 30 seconds left. Like, it was just clunky and weird. And the idea of putting a bounty on a Moose is kind of hilarious to me because it's like, dude, what are you gonna like? He knocks people on his ass without even trying. Like, if you're gonna pick on somebody, you pick on like Sam Steele or Maverick Borg, not fucking Miro Rantanen. Like, have fun with that. That's going to work out well for you, I'm sure. But yeah, no, like goalie, when asked about it, I think answered it perfectly. He's like, man, I don't like that hit. But at the same time, like when Mikko's in a position where he's not in control of himself, how is he supposed to control somebody else on the ice? It's really tough to do. They're big bodies out there. Hits like that have happened against the Stars, and this time it happened on the Stars opposing team. It is what it is. I heard Avs fans calling for suspensions. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Do I think it could happen? I do think it can happen. We know the league's very weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it deserves a suspension. I'll be on record saying that.
Yeah, he got tossed from the game, and this game technically was tied at one point, and he wouldn't have been available in overtime if they had gotten there.
Correct.
So we'll get to that now. There's 27 seconds left. They're on the penalty kill now. There's 4 guys out there. They have like Miro and 3 forwards. They just said, the hell with the try to get a goal shorthanded, see what happens, go empty net and get even strength. And they did that. They get 5 guys out there, basically a power play versus a power play, 1D versus 4 and 4 forwards. There's some good looks. There's some danger. And all of a sudden, as the seconds are dwindling, Jason Robertson goes towards the net to kind of try to tip a puck. Puck gets blocked, and he ends up running into the goaltender. Wyatt Johnson knocks the puck in with 0.1 seconds left. This game's tied. The buzzers are going. They called it a good goal on the ice. The goalie's stick was literally flying over the net as the goal goes in. Just the beautiful game of hockey. It's the beautiful game. And it was just perfectly chaotic for that moment. They call it a good goal on the ice. And I say that because then they go and look at it. They call it no goal for goalie interference. So the rule is goalie interference, and that is the most strange and inconsistent rule in the game of hockey. And it doesn't make sense. At some point, you have to have some ground rules, and it cannot be up into interpretation. There has to be ground rules. So Robo goes over towards the goalie. He does enter the crease with his left skate first, I think, on his own. But there is already contact being initiated by the Islanders defender. They're already bumping into each other. Robo is going towards the net, going towards the crease to try to tip that puck. I get that all day long. But there's already contact with the Islanders defender. He then shoves him into the goaltender, flops all over the place, and Wyatt scores that goal. So tap in, beautiful, 0.1 seconds, tie game. It is what it is. They go and look at it. They say no goal. The Stars challenge it, and they still end up calling goaltender interference with Toronto looking at it. And it's at some point you called it good on the ice. How were you able to overturn that with that much evidence? Because you look at the slow-mo, you look at the overhead angle. I think the Stars kind of got screwed there just because the rule is stupid, and it's stupid for all 32 teams. It's not just stupid for the Stars. We've seen it last year. Like the Islanders, it's happened to them like 3 times last season. Like I don't think it was goaltender interference because contact had already been initiated before he touches the red line of the crease. I know Robo was going there, but there was already contact. And that's my issue. Is like there's already contact initiated by the Islander. I don't think you can call goaltender interference. That should have been a tie game. They should have went to overtime. No Miro Rantanen, but you still get a point out of it. I think they kind of just got screwed there. I've looked at it. I understand the rule. I asked Mike Heika right after we finished the game up, and we're heading up the stairs to go to the elevator to go downstairs. And I was like, what do you think of the call there? And he goes, he was going in there. He was kind of already in the crease, and then the contact happened. So when you're in the crease and then contact happens, I don't think they can call it. If you're not in the crease and then contact happens, they can call it. It was such a tweener play, and even if you go down to the minuscule of it and just slow it down to the slowest amount of time you can, I think it was a goal. I think there should have been another point added to the Stars record. Even if they lose, they get another point. I just think it was a good goal. And at the end of the day, Toronto didn't think so. The NHL didn't think so. And it is what it is. But I think that should have been a good goal.
Yeah. And you can't really see this in like real motion, but when they slow it down, the angle Robo is taking is not directly at the goalie. He's exiting that blue line because you're right. He does enter into that blue space, but had he not gotten touched himself, he's probably not touching the goalie. So it's like at some point, am I mad on November 18th that this call was made? It would have been nice to get a point, but if this happens the reason why it's so upsetting to me is you have to have a clear set rule, because if this happens in a playoff series, that's when you get the hyenas coming out of the woodwork. Like it's okay to happen now, but you can't have a situation like this. And this has happened for years. I don't know why it hasn't been.
It happened to us a few years ago in the playoffs. In a game, in a series deciding game, they scored a goal in overtime and they called a goaltender interference on Mush, who scores the Game 6 overtime winner against Colorado. Without initiating contact with the goaltender initiated it, and then the other Avalanche player like it was in overtime. It was the series deciding goal, and they were like, goaltender interference. And it simply was not. This one, I could see it going both ways, but as Stars fans, we look at it a little bit differently than everybody else. I try to look at it objectively, just can't at the end of the day. Robo was like, I didn't even see it. He's on the ground. Like, he has no idea what's happening. He's like, I haven't watched the video yet. I can't tell you anything. So, and Tyler Sagan was like, yeah, you think that's probably a good goal, but it wasn't up to us. It was up to Toronto, and that's what the call that they made, and it's what we got to live with. We didn't play good enough to get the point anyway, so to be in that position was a good thing. Correct. But at the end of the day, they didn't get the point. Wyatt doesn't get a goal. It was 5-on-5, but with an empty net. It was pure chaos last night. Stars lose, 3-2? But Robo, another multi-goal game. He's just on an absolute tear. He won first star of the week for the NHL last week, and he just keeps going. The offense didn't look good last night. The defense was, I think it was fine. I think the goaltending was fine. There was one wonky play where it was like, man, you'd like to have that one play come back with the board bouncing puck and just tap in for Horvat. But At the end of the day, they fought back. They tied the game. It didn't get called that way, but it's a hell of a team to come back from that.
Yeah, no, you look at all 5 losses that the Stars have in regulation, like, even when they're not playing good, they're still playing with a chance to win a possible game, which is what you want to see. Jamie Benn's first game back. So moving forward, I think we got Vancouver next on Thursday. I love Sam Steele on that first line, man. Like, I've been trying to talk myself out of it, but when you have such a great grouping of Wyatt and Miko, and then you have such a great grouping of Rupe and Robo, like, Sam Steele can play anywhere. We've learned that now, but dude, him on that first line, it's reminiscent of last year's best line in hockey.
Yeah, it's really fun. And then we also saw Jamie get up there pretty quick with the top line, getting some shifts up with the top line. I think he only played about 10 minutes last night, so they're still easing him back. It's a collapsed lung. It's a serious injury, but he's out there hitting. He's out there making plays. He almost tucked that goal in the first period when he was up with Miko and Wyatt. Like, he almost got that 400th goal. I don't know when we're going to get the 400th goal, but it's going to happen eventually, and it's going to be magnificent and sweet and beautiful and everything. But he almost gets it there. So I thought Jamie looked pretty decent for his first game back. There were some normal Jamie things where you're like, what are you doing there? Like, why'd you lose the puck there? Whatever. That's just normal Jamie. Like, we're used to that at this point. So I think he's going to work in on the top line here and there as the center and have Wyatt on the right side and Miko on the left side. So it was a weird line, but I kind of liked it. And then, yeah, having Jamie back was awesome. It was just the energy was there with the team. There was energy was there with the crowd. Everybody loved Jamie. So welcome back, Jamie Benn. It's good to see you. I had a Finnish reporter next to me. He's here for the last game in this game. I don't know if he's going to be at the next one, but he was like, is this really Jamie Benn's first game of the season? I was like, yeah, he's had a collapsed lung, dude. He's just in the preseason. He's just now back. So good to have Jamie back. Don, by chance, do you have a Miro Rantanen bobblehead next to you?
I do have a moose sitting right here next to me.
All right. So since I'm an inept person and forgot to put this in the show notes for last episode, we're going to give this puppy away right now. The Miro Rantanen bobblehead from a few weeks ago that they gave away. Dom got an extra, and he's going to give it away to someone that commented Moose on one of our episodes from last week on Monday. It's on Apollo HOU, but if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on Clean Sheet of Ice. We've moved everything on YouTube over there. We've got Instagram and Twitter at Clean Sheet of Ice, so hit a follow button there. Interact with us. We'll interact back. We're not weird, and we're not going to not interact with you. Just hit us up on Clean Sheet of Ice on socials and then on YouTube at a Clean Sheet of Ice. But this giveaway is officially happening. I'm going to spin the wheel now. You're not going to be able to see it. I'm not going to lie. I'm spinning it. There's 15 comments. And Lolly Life 2.0 on YouTube. You have won the Miro Rantanen bobblehead. Send us a DM either on Twitter or Instagram, either my social, Dom socials, or Clean Sheet of Ice on Instagram or Twitter. You have won the Miro Rantanen bobblehead. We will ship it out to you. Or if you're in Dallas or Houston, we'll bring it to you at one of the games or wherever. We can bring it to you. So hit us up on social medias, Lolly Life 2.0 from YouTube. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for interacting. Thank you for watching. You've won the Miro Rantanen bobblehead. We're going to do some more giveaways this season. We got to hit some certain milestones. So I think once we hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, I'm going to give away something. It might be a piece of the new merch that's coming out next week. Might go grab something, whatever it is, whether it's a beanie or a hat or shirt. I'm not giving away a jersey unless we get some sponsors, but we're going to do some giveaways this season. We'll probably do 3 more before the playoffs. And then during the playoffs, if they just keep winning, maybe we just give away something every series. Who's to say? So Lolly Life 2.0, congrats. You've won the Miro Rantanen bobblehead. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, either me or Dom socials or the Clean Sheet of Ice socials on Instagram or Twitter. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. We just want to give some happies away to our listeners and viewers. Y'all mean so much to us. We want to make sure that y'all are recognized as well. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Tune in to later episodes. We'll give away some more stuff throughout the rest of the season once we hit milestone markers on the subscriber count on the new YouTube. So hit that subscribe button if you want to have some more giveaways. I've got cards. I've got merch. I got all kinds of stuff. Got some extra rally towels from the playoffs. Got all kinds of stuff that we can give away this season. So Lolly Life 2.0. Hit us up on socials. Congrats on winning the Miro Rantanen bobblehead. Before we get out of here, we got to talk about Vancouver. It's a 9 o'clock game. as always, we do game predictions. So if you want to sponsor game predictions on Clean Sheet of Ice, hit us up on social media. We'd love to have this sponsored by somebody. So game predictions for Vancouver, 9:00 game on Thursday. I would assume Casey DeSmith is in net. What do you think about this game after the destructive game that they had against Vancouver a few weeks ago? That was just brutal and bad. So what do you think about this game?
I was listening to the Chicklets. They interviewed Ludwig. I think it was last week or like earlier this week.
Yep.
DeSmith might be the best performing backup goalie in the league right now. Like he is on a tear. Will he give up his like DeSmith goal? Typically happens like the first half of the second period. Yeah, he will. But once he gives up that weird apple, he's pretty locked down. Vancouver, I'm expecting a lot of shots too. So he's going to get active. Man, if Dallas can get on the power play early, there's no reason to believe that, or there's no reason not to believe that Robo is going to keep this heater. I want to see a super long goal streak from Robo. Miro last night had some really, really good shots from the blue line. I'm seeing like my mind says 3-1. My heart says 3-0. I'm thinking DeSmith has a really, really big night Thursday night.
I was actually thinking about the final score prediction last night while I was at the game. I was like, oh, we got to talk about this tomorrow. I'm going to go 3-1 Stars. I think Casey's going to play pretty well. I think you get kind of an early goal, and then you kind of sit around in the second period, and then you kind of explode in the third period. I think that's kind of what's going to happen. I think this team's too good. I think they're too angry after last night to come back and perform poorly in the next game. Casey is never going to be bad against the same team twice in a row. The other thing I pulled up from Vancouver, they're 3-5-1 at home, so they're really bad at home. They're 6-5-1 on the road. They're 4-4-2 in their last 10. So they're fine in their last 10. They're not great. They're under 500. But at the end of the day, this team is not as good as the Dallas Stars. That second period from the last game at home against Vancouver, where they scored 4 goals, was atrocious, and they were still figuring out the defense, and there was a lot of things that were still wonky with the team, and every other game it would come out. At this point, this team's starting to hum. The offense looks really good. The defense looks like it's in position. I mean, you had Kolyachonok out there last night, who hasn't played a game for the Stars in the regular season yet, that you traded for with Matt Dumba trade in the offseason. I thought he looked kind of good, and he added some speed to the defensive pairings that we haven't had since Nils went out. Thought he was fine. I thought Liam Bichel and Petro were pretty phenomenal last night. I thought Capobianco was pretty good last night. So you're kind of dealing with some injuries, and you're a little shorthanded, and you have no Dutchie. You have no Thomas Harley right now. You might not have Lyubushkin again for Thursday. He's day-to-day. I would assume he doesn't play. So I think it's going to be a little wonky on the injury side, but this team, the offense is so good. Like, they should just score more goals than the other team most nights, especially against a team that does not play well at home. I would expect a 3-1 game. I think Casey has a great game, and I think Mikko gets one, Robo gets another, and Wyatt gets the other. I think those are your 3 goal scorers, and you spread them out a little bit. But if Robo just has another multi-goal game for like the 5th straight game, then sure, I'll take that all day long. But at the end of the day, if you want to sponsor that segment, game predictions, hit us up on social media. Me, you hit my email up. You can do whatever you want. Hit us up if you want to sponsor game predictions. Dom, you got any last words before we get out of here?
Man, so Lyubushkin's week to week?
Day to day.
Day to day, okay.
And we asked if it was the real day to day, and he goes, it's our day to day. So, yeah, it's probably a week.
I fear there's something in the air. The Mavericks injury plague always kind of sniffles its way over to the Stars bench. If we can ride this wave and get a few more wins and then get everybody healthy, that's when we'll really be rolling. Rupe's going to maybe not a robo heater, but Rupe's going to have his heater where he's putting in 2 assists a night. Assist, 2 goals, goal. Like that's going to get started. And I just want my boy Sam Steele to be Sam Steele. He's been great. Maverick Borg, keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah, and I want Jamie to get that 400th goal so bad, but I want it to happen at home. But they're not playing at home for like a week and a half. So like, if Jamie gets one on the road this week, so be it. I'll take it all day. Any way I can get it, the 400th goal. I need that from him. I think Mikko needs to score a goal here pretty soon. I think once he scores one, it'll kind of be a flurry, just like maybe not just like Robo, but goal here, goal here, goal here, goal here. And then Robo's just going to score 4 goals a night, apparently, at this rate. Like, it's just incredible. He almost had a hat trick last night during that power play late in the game, with maybe 5 minutes left in the game. And Robo had that one-timer. That was a perfect feed from Sagan, I believe. Cross ice. He had the one-timer. It hits the bottom of the glove, and then it hits the body and goes in to the body. It was nearly a hat trick one-timer to tie the game to go to overtime. But I digress. I think you're going to score some goals. 3-1 against the Vancouver Canucks. Would love to see it. Would love to see Jamie's 400th goal. It was a chaotic episode. Shout out to Lolly Life 2.0 on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button on Clean Sheet Advice. Hit us up on socials to win that Miro Rantanen bobblehead. We will ship it out. And if you don't respond within a week, if you don't let us know that you won because you weren't listening to this podcast, I'll do another giveaway. I'll do a different version of it, and I'll give it to somebody else. Unless you hit us up within the next week, by Wednesday of next week, Lolly Life 2.0, you won the Miro Rantanen bobblehead. Hit us up on social media so you can get that in person, so we can ship it off to you and just have a great time with that bobblehead. Put it up on your shelf like I do, and then just have a great time with that because it's a great bobblehead. That's it for Clean Sheet Advice, though. We'll be back on Friday with Savannah to talk about the Vancouver game. Excited about it. 3 episodes a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Hit that subscribe button wherever you are on YouTube at Apollo H, or not Apollo HOU, but you can subscribe to that one too. At Clean Sheet Advice, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We've got all kinds of fun stuff on there as well. More game tweets and all that kind of stuff on Twitter. And you have some good stuff on Instagram as well. We got some new graphics. We got some new videos. Savannah's doing her 5 keys to the game. You get all of that there on Instagram and Twitter at Clean Sheet Advice. Dom, thanks for joining. Sponsors, Zing Zang, America's #1 Bloody Mary Mix. We love Zing Zang. Zang responsibly all season long. And shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code CSOI when you sign up. Play your first $5. Get $100 in bonus entries using our promo code CSOI. Thanks for sponsoring this episode. Thanks for tuning in, listening, watching, wherever. We'll be back on Friday with another episode of Clean Sheet Advice, Texas Hockey Podcast.